Great people, welcome to NameTech channel. My name is Nehemiah and I'm very happy to have you on board. So this is lesson 6 on Matplotlib, and we are going to talk about on how to add grid lines to a plot. But then before you begin, please take a minute, subscribe, like and share the video to your friends. And to the returning subscribers, I really appreciate you very much for your continuous support. Now guys, basically with pyplot, you can use the grid function to add the grid lines to the plot. Now before anything guys, let's write the codes to plot that graph. Then I'm going to show you how to add the grid lines, or I'm going to show you everything in a few. So first of all, let's import NumPy. Remember Matplotlib works with NumPy underneath. So let's import NumPy is an alias np, and then also let's import Matplotlib. So import Matplotlib .pyplot is also an alias plt. You can use any other alias name. And then here let's create our two variables. Let me define this one as x, because it's gonna be at the x-axis. Then let me use a NumPy array here, np.array. Then I'm gonna pass in a list of values. Remember, a list is defined using the the squared brackets. Then here let me pass in some values: 80, 90. Let me go with 55. Let me go with 85. Then let me go to 90, just like what we did in the other tutorial. Then here let me say 100, 105, and then this is 110. Oh, it should be 110, and then what is 115? Then after 115 it is 120, and then what is 125, right? 125. Now this is the x-axis. Now for y-axis, let me call it y, use a variable y, then let me assign it to a NumPy array again. And then I'm gonna pass in a list, and then this list I'm gonna give it from 240. From 240. So guys, basically this one is gonna be the color ribbonage, and then this x is gonna be the average pulse. So I think I should give some more values on the color ribbonage here. So in that case guys, let me just use perhaps between 240 or in a higher value, 240, and then just trying to be realistic, but you can use another value. But then here let me say 250, 260, then to 70, to 80, to 90, and then 300, 310, right? Should be 310, and then 320, then 330. So they must tally actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're 10. They should be 10. 80, 85, 90. Oh, it should be here 95. Sorry, 95. I forgot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 at the top, and then at the y-axis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah. So they should tally so that you may have a very, very nice graph for x-axis and the y-axis. So then here guys, I'm gonna create some titles and also some labels in the y-axis and the x-axis. So in that case, let me use plt dot for title. I'm gonna say title. We talked about titles in the previous lecture, and then here let me define this title to be something like remember this is color ribbonage, and then this one is the this one is the average pulse. So in that case, to be realistic, let me try to use something something like a sport, a sport event or a sport. Let me say sport watch. The title, you can give it in any other title. You can use your values, but then let me use a sport sport watch data. And then for what else? For label, for X label, let me use a PLT dot X label for labeling X axis. I'm gonna give it this one. Let me give it average pulse. Then for the Y label, PLT dot Y label. Let me pass in what? The calorie burnage. Calorie burnage. And then notice now we are going to plot now X and Y. So let me say PLT dot plot, basically plot. So this plot function is used to plot your graph, the X and Y axis. Then here what I do, let me pass in X and Y. Now this function will be used to draw our graph. Then after drawing the graph, we are going to add in another function here, PLT dot grid, now to add the grid lines. And then to visualize, we are going to use what? PLT dot show. And I remember guys, for it to work, we must have the GUI compiler for Matplotlib. Otherwise, let me run, and then let me try to zoom out a bit. And then guys, basically you can see it is now very, very perfect. We have the title, you have the label, you have the label for y-axis, then the label for x-axis. Then you can see we have the grid lines that they're in. So guys, basically you can also specify which grid lines to display. You can use the axis parameter in the grid function to specify which grid lines to display. So the legal values are X, Y, and are both. A default values is both. Like you can see, we didn't specify, but you can see we have the X grid lines, the Y grid lines. So guys, let me show you how to display only the grid lines for the X axis. In that case, we are going to add in another parameter here at the grid function. Where is it? Let me zoom in a bit. At the grid line, we are going to pass in another function, another parameter here called axis. Then at this axis, I'm going to assign it to X. If I want to have only the X grid lines, X. Then what I do, let me run. And then guys, basically you can see we have only the grid lines running for X axis in the X axis. Now for Y axis, it will go the other side. So let me show you for Y axis. For Y axis, guys, just specify Y like this. And then when you run, you will have the grid lines for Y axis. Now for both guys, you just specify both, or I just leave it blank, it will pick it by default. Both. Let me run. Then I can see guys, we have both grid lines. So that's how you can specify the grid lines. Then let me talk about how to set line properties for the grid lines. You can also set the line properties of the grid lines by adding what? Perhaps the colors, line style, line width, and so forth. So what I do, let me show you guys. So let me add in another parameter. First of all, you separate a parameter with a comma, and then here let me call it color. I don't know if you can see, but for color, let me assign it to some color like a green even. Then what you do, let me run first of all, and then I can see the color is green. Let me give it red so that you can see. Let me say red, or you can just type in R, it will pick. Then again you can see it is red, and then you can give it even the line style. Let me add a comma here to separate a parameter. Then here let me call it line style, or you can just say ls, but then let me use line style. Then let me assign it to the dashed one. Just use 2 hyphens. This one is for a dashed grid lines. Then I can see we have that dashed grid lines. You can also specify the width, the line width, by typing line width. Then let me assign it to, I can give it even let me give it 1.0, and then let me see. Let me run and see. Then again you can see, or you can give it even, let me try to, and then you can see it's kind of a bit large a bit. So guys, basically that's how you can specify the line properties for your grid. So basically guys, this is what I wanted to show you in this tutorial, and I think you've gained a lot. Please now go ahead, subscribe, like, and share the video to your friends. Until next time, this is Nehemiah. Goodbye.